Welcome to the garden. Today we're discussing celery, and we're going to be making a Waldorf salad out of some jazz apples here. So to grow celery, I like to start it from seed, and like an herb, it has these tiny seeds. So we just want to bury these slightly, about a half a centimeter or a quarter of an inch. And you can sprinkle them in fairly thick and then thin them out later. And they look a lot like parsley when they're starting out. They have their seed leaves, and then the first true leaves are smaller versions of these. Now some people will say that you can grow them from a stump that you bought at the store. And although that's true, I'm going to show you why that doesn't work. So your celery is going to be cut off right at the base. So all this root is lost. You'd have better luck growing this root than you would growing, your store-bought stump. So I could plant this, and this would maybe start growing anew. Or you could actually eat this if you shave it down. It's like a potato or a Jerusalem artichoke. So they are edible roots. But today we're going to be using the stem, all these nice crunchy stems, and some of the leaves too. So I'm just going to prep up our celery here. So that's ready to cut. But we're going to start with our lemon, which I've already zested and added to the bowl. And then I'm going to add juice with my little juicer here. And if you can strain this, it'd be better because there are seeds in here. I'm just going to pick them out. And we want to start with our lemon so that as we cut our apples here, they're not going to oxidize. The lemon's going to keep them nice and fresh. So I'm just picking out some of the seeds here. Got a couple more. And a couple more here. There we go. So now we've got our juice and our zest. And we're going to start with our apples. So these are the Jazz apple, my favorite apple. They were made in New Zealand, and it's a hybrid of a Royal Gala and what's the other one? A Royal Gala and a Braeburn. And they're a really sweet, nice crunchy apple. We're just going to dice them up into bite-sized pieces here in our little Waldorf salad, named after the Waldorf Hotel, I believe, which the main chef whipped this up one night. So it's at its heart, it's just apples and celery, and then toasted walnuts. You don't have to toast your walnuts, but it brings out the flavor. So I've toasted those just lightly, and you want to use your nose. You don't want them to turn brown because they can get even more bitter than they are. You just want to smell and have that nice light toasted aroma. So we're using 2 Jazz apples, and then we're going to add our celery, our walnuts, lemons, of course, and the sauce is 1 part sour cream to 3 parts mayonnaise. And then there are some optional seasonings of salt and pepper, and the recipe that I got mentioned tarragon, but I don't want anything competing with our sweet apples and our homegrown celery. So I'm just going to be using a little salt and pepper and a splash of honey. So there's our apples prepped. And while we work on our celery, I just want to cover them with our lemon juice. That's going to halt the oxidation, and it's actually going to start flavoring our apples a little bit with that lemon juice. Very delicious flavor. So we've got our homegrown celery that I'm just going to cut into small bite-sized bits, smaller than the apple. And this really adds a wonderful flavor. This is my favorite thing to do with celery. It's so delicious, you don't notice the celery at all. And we're going to add some of the leaves, but we don't need all of them for this dish. So just about there. Let's try that. And I'm going to mix these in. That looks good. So you could add your walnuts whole or break them up. It's up to you. I like to break mine up just slightly. That way you're not getting a whole walnut in one bite and then none in the other bite. But a couple big chunks is nice. So we're going to add that to our apples and celery. And then our 1 part sour cream to 3 parts mayonnaise. I'm going to start with half, just to make sure we don't overdo it. Or maybe a little more than half. And before I mix that in, I'm going to add a little more seasoning. Just a dash of salt. Some fresh cracked pepper, of course. And a little bit of honey. So you could use sugar, but I'm more of a honey fan. So just a little bit, I guess, because it's a little cold today and the honey's having trouble flowing. But just pretend that we got a nice bit of honey on there. So whether you grow your celery from seed or from a rootstock, this is going to be the best way to use it up. You could use it in tuna salads, or those ants on a log, it makes a great snack, or just dipped in with some hummus. But this is by far my favorite. And it looks like we got the sauce ratio just about perfect. The sour cream and the mayo are now combining with the lemon zest and the remainder of the juice, coating all these apples and celery, and it's such a wonderful salad. So there you have it. I hope you give some celery a grow. Try our Waldorf salad. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.